Hello, this is ISE Show TV. I'm Paul Milligan. Welcome to the latest in our panel discussions at ISE 2019. Today we are looking at projection. So with me today at the end is Stuart Harris from projection mapping specialist, motion mapping. In the middle is Blair Parkin from consultants Teecom, and next to me is Chris Axford from projection manufacturer Digital Perfection. So thanks for joining us, gents. So the title today, rather controversially, is projection in danger of becoming a museum piece? What is it good for? Maybe you last, because you're... I guess I know your answer.
I'll try and hold my mouth shut for a minute.
Stuart, I guess it's a big part of your job.
Yeah, it's the only part of our job. So the important thing for us is making sure that we can use it on anything, rather than just being restricted to screens or stuff like the LEDs, where it's a very large element that takes away from anything you're projecting on. Stonehenge, for instance, you couldn't put an LED screen on that.
So it's the flexibility that's the sort of biggest usable point for
Definitely,
you. Sure. Blair, is projection becoming a museum piece?
Oh, definitely. We use them to project on the inside of museums, the outside of museums.
That's not what I meant.
So the museum market is of growing importance. There are significant changes happening. Certain classes of projectors are being made less relevant by flat panel and LED display. Other classes of projectors are doing things you can't do with anything else. So projecting on non-flat objects, cinema, simulation. So there's a whole bunch of specialist applications, and they haven't gone away, and technology hasn't replaced the projector in those apps.
Sure. I mean, Chris, you can't help but have seen the competition from LED video walls. You can't move for bumping into one at this show.
No.
Flat panels getting bigger and bigger. I mean, I guess you guys are aware of that competition. Is it seriously impacting on your business, or are you?
I think, of course it impacts at certain levels of the market. As the two gentlemen here have just said, there are things you can do with the projector that you still can't do with flat panels or LED. So, of course, you have to be dynamic as a manufacturer, and you have to move with the opportunity there. But projectors will always create a canvas out of anything, and that simply isn't possible with other technologies at the moment. So I think there's been a bit of a renaissance, actually, in projection over recent years, particularly in mapping areas. It's become extremely popular, extremely popular, and people are just seeing opportunity everywhere they look now. And that's exciting for us, but of course the demands change as well. So if you don't keep up, yes, you will become a dinosaur, but we like to think that we're at least one of those guys that are willing to push the envelope, and that helps us.
Blair, you guys do a kind of variety of projects. Are you seeing it in things like the sort of bigger corporates? Are you seeing projection being phased out slightly?
I have to say in sort of medium-sized meeting rooms, conference rooms, projection is generally, a flat panel these days up to 100 inches is a fairly standard solution for presenting PowerPoint, Excel, things like that. And there are enough manufacturers that are very cost effective, they're easy to install. Architects like them as well. Architects don't like things hanging off their ceilings, they prefer things on the walls, most architects. So yes, there is a change going on, but we're doing stuff with projection we've never done before because of the brightness. There are new markets coming because of the image quality, the high dynamic range that true laser illumination as opposed to laser phosphor gives. It gives image qualities in things like planetariums that are not achievable in any other way. But yes, there's a mass market layer that's going to cheap tellies, basically.
I mean, is this the start of a move for projection to become like a specialist technology? And is that necessarily a bad thing? Because there's plenty of technologies that have specialist equipment that do very well. Are you maybe seeing that?
I mean, you could argue it that way, but those niche, if you like, niche markets and niche applications are broadening. There's more opportunity, I'm sure we all see it. So yes, you picked up on Blair picked up on some of the markets like simulation. We talked about mapping, museums. I echo everything he said. And those traditionally have been, simulation is a real sort of science. It's been a really specialist niche market, but actually technology makes it more accessible now. And as long as you can continue to do things that you can't do with other technologies, it's still very relevant.
Sure. I mean, I guess, Stuart, sounds like everything you do as a company is about that wow factor, and projectors can kind of help you do that. I mean, is that for large scale events? Do you think projection really is the only viable option?
I think it works for large scale and for the smaller scale. We're kind of on a move at the moment to do an education process where a lot of people think with projection you must have it on a building, have huge expenses that go with it. But actually, you can do it on a much smaller scale. You can have it in a room with, in retail for the museums, like you said, and you can make it immersive as well. You get people interacting with it rather than just touching a screen.
Sure.
You can get them involved and drawn into it.
So is that kind of one of the reasons I guess you guys are here, to educate the market in terms of, like you said, retail, much smaller things? Because it does. I've seen it on like plane trainers where you can put all the colours on our clothes and things. It can work really well in retail, which you don't necessarily put retail and projection together, would you?
No. And there's lots of different products and software that's available that we can say, right, okay, well, this will fit your needs better, rather than saying, one product will do it all. There's so many different tools that you can really sort of engage people with. And in time of day as well, I think it's an important thing, so that rather than just fixing content for one part of the day, you can spread it over the whole day and actually focus it on different people.
Sure. Blair, I mean, is it still the number one way for you guys to provide a sort of wow factor? I mean, speaking personally, I can't remember getting very excited about a 70-inch plasma, or obviously, it doesn't give you the same feeling, does it?
There's ambiguity in my answer as ever, but I am after a consultant. The yes and no. The projection toolbox has grown, but at the same time, other things have become available as well, and there are overlaps in functionality. But I give you another example of a whole class of projection was designed for classrooms with very short throw. Projector goes above the whiteboard or the wall. That has become more and more professional, more and more industrialized. And we have many high-level corporate workspace clients who don't want a flat panel on the wall of their meeting room. So they're actually coming back round and starting to specify a projector, because the architectural finish, the flat panel will last 2-3 years and then be changed and make a horrible mess of the wall. By putting something at the ceiling height, you can specify the wall finish in such a way that the image disappears when you're not using it. So, so
they're projecting directly onto the wall, though, or there's a projection screen that comes down? Or?
Usually directly onto the wall. The wall finish is selected for that. And those kinds of projectors have then started being used in a whole load of retail, digital signage, up escalators, all sorts of things, where people want the quality of projected light. They want light, they want movement, they might not want a flat panel. So as a class of projectors being born essentially for classrooms, we're finding it being used in all sorts of other creative ways. So that swings and roundabouts, but I say again, there's this mid-class of single chip or 3-chip LCD that I think is just going to be gone in 24 months. But below it and above it, projection is working just fine.
Sure. I mean, Chris, we're talking about, I don't know if you possibly agreed with me, but in terms of projection becoming a more sort of specialist technology, I guess with that, I think 10 years ago there was hundreds of projector vendors, weren't there? And are we seeing that number shrink because maybe some of them have dropped that out of the market because the market's not the same anymore, and maybe they've moved on to flat panels or something else?
Sure.
Does that make it easier for you guys, I guess?
I think the short answer is no. I mean, there's definitely been consolidation in the industry, but then this middle ground space that Blair talked about, which is getting tougher, has seen some of the people that used to play there having to move up a notch.
Yeah.
So whilst yes, there's been consolidation, less competition, if you like, or mergers and whatnot that goes on, there's also a bunch of new guys coming in, and of course it's a different way of selling and applying your technology at the high end of the market, but they're there nevertheless, and we have to reinvent ourselves and look at different ways, different concepts for projection really to still be relevant and still be leading the pack.
Sure. I mean, with that I guess that includes working with the two guys next to you in terms of like developing projects and.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're a vendor, we're a manufacturer. We don't consult, we don't design projects, we don't know how to necessarily integrate our projection into a system, and the projector is just one part of a system. We have to always remind ourselves of that, because without these gentlemen, we'd be lost. We really would.
Stuart, I'm not an engineer, but I would. To me, it seems like there's a lot of skill in projection mapping. than hanging a 3x3 video wall, in terms of, would I be right in that? I mean, how do you get those skilled people into your company? Because I guess it's a lot easier to hang flat panels on the wall. You don't necessarily need a huge amount of skill
Even
to
I
do
can
that.
do that.
Sorry, apologies to people who do that for a living, but I guess there's a lot of specialist people in your company.
Yeah, it comes from the imagination really, and if they're willing to learn, then the providers of the equipment that we use, they give us a lot of support. So from the projector manufacturers through to the actual mapping software and on-site crew and stuff like that, they've got the imagination and they want to learn. So it takes a lot of work and a bit of mind-bending concept sometimes. Sure. But yeah, it's quite simple to get into. Sure. It's just you need to want to get further.
Sure. I mean, a question for you two guys, probably at Chris, if we can do that. I've just, how regularly do you speak to I guess you're projector agnostic, you can kind of talk to anyone. Yeah. How often do you guys speak to them, and are there things that you want from projector models that maybe you can't get, and are you open to sort of discussions with people like Chris and Blair? Do you kind of do that as well? I know you guys talk to manufacturers.
Yeah, I mean, we maintain a level of research continuously of what's going on, where things are going over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So we invest in knowing that stuff. But equally, most of the high-end display manufacturers want to hear what we're experiencing, what we're thinking. So there's an active dialogue to influence the next generation product, or the next edition product, and also the next generation product. So it's the product cycles are ever shorter, as in all technology areas.
Each project kind of has its own needs, I guess. Yeah. And every time we do a different project, we then feed that back, and then 9 out of 10 times it's taken on board, and obviously we see that coming on later on.
Yeah. So you are seeing positive results from those conversations?
Yeah.
Okay. And you see that as well, Blair?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you are listening.
Yeah. Well, we do try, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So funny, I mean, I guess it's quite a positive message then for projection. Thankfully for you, Chris. It sounds like there's life in the old dog yet. Stuart, for you, there's no move to other technology in the next 5 or 10 years, conceivably. It's just projectors will continue to get brighter and cheaper and smaller, so that will kind of suit your business.
Yeah, everything just keeps moving forward. Everyone keeps coming up with new ideas on how to use them. It's just a case of just keep going and see how far we can take it, really.
Blair, you don't see any sizable shifts coming I know you talked about that mid-range, but
there are shifts and overlaps coming, but it's a time of change, but projectors aren't going away.
Sure.
And at the same time, as we develop creative solutions for different things, there are more tools beyond projectors. So it's a great time to be designing things.
Sure. Chris, good news, projectors aren't going away.
Where
do you see the market kind of evolving? Is it, for you guys, is it expanding the range? Is it?
I mean, the challenge as a manufacturer is always, you've got parameters you need to work in, of course we all do, but what you want is the perfect projector for every application. Now that's very difficult in the traditional...
And not in an ugly box.
Not in a big, heavy, ugly box, may I add, there as well. So that's challenging, and we're looking at some pretty extreme concepts right now, is how do we, if you like, consolidate the range and offer tailor-made solutions for every application. And it's an exciting time right now, and there is technology that's out there, and it's going to enable us to do that. And it's just about how we put that together. And these guys who make the magic happen, that come up with the creative ideas, yes, we've got to listen, and we're doing a lot of that at ISE this year. But then how do we apply that into a range of products that will see us through the next 10 years and potentially give it a step change and make projection even more popular than ever? And we think this is the time to do that now. We're able, we see that the commercials stack up, and it's just a case of gluing it all together and getting it to market.
Fantastic. Right, well, it's great to end on such a positive message. Stuart, Blair, Chris, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the latest in these panel discussions. If you click on the homepage and type in panel discussion in the search bar, you'll find all the panel discussions from ISE 2019. They're all well worth your time. So thanks for joining us again. Goodbye.